Welcome, sinners, to the Cinamen podcast. I'm Chris.
I am Nick.
And I'm Tyler.
And returning this week, we got our special movie cinephile fanatic, Derrick. What's up?
What's going on?
And this week, we got Magnificent Seven, right? It's just in theaters. Apparently, it's awesome, right?
I really liked it.
It's pretty solid. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Let's ask this. Do you guys think it's better than the original?
I definitely think so.
I think so, yeah.
You know, I haven't seen the new one, and I think I'm going to agree with you.
So you didn't get to go to see the
Well, I
new
haven't
one?
seen the old
No, I
one,
did
so I'm
not.
going to agree with you too.
Well, it looks like we're all in agreement. This is good. This is a special episode because I feel like Tyler sometimes likes to... He comes at you from different angles, makes you rethink your shit.
Oh,
So-
well, God
That's what you're
forbid,
supposed
God
to do,
forbid you
so
change
that's
your
good.
opinion, you know.
That's good. So, you said the original, it's definitely a step up in action, right?
The new one.
It just looks like a sweet action film. Is the story good? Is it similar?
It's very similar.
It's similar.
It's very similar, but it's just...
You can
it's
tell
very
where it's
basic.
different, though.
Yeah. I mean, you'll know the different similarities they have between the two when you see them, but they're essentially the same basic outline, yeah.
The seven in the new movie are very diverse. You know, you got black guy, Asian guy, Native American guy, Mexican guy, and then three white dudes. And in the original, it's just all white guys saving a Mexican town, right?
Yeah, they're all
Yeah,
just like,
essentially.
they're all just your average Joe cowboy.
So it was a Mexican town. It wasn't like
Correct.
a
Yeah.
local town that they're just saving like in the new one.
It's like a small town in the middle of nowhere.
And,
It's like a small ranching community. They're like dirt poor.
and instead of the girl and the
Friend.
the friend or whatever
Friend?
going and tracking them down like it is in the new one, in the original, it's like the three amigos, they come in out of nowhere and they like basically start going town to town and like watching people and find out who's a good gunfighter. And it's kind of cool, but it's just it definitely opens the same almost, where like you meet the villain, he does something very dramatic, but it's very. I would say the new one is more, I guess, better with story and action, the way they did it.
Right.
The old
Well,
one
I
just
think-
had that weird. Like,
It's very slow. The old one's very
Yeah.
slow. I found myself falling asleep. It was pretty late when I was watching it, but
Yeah, and
It's very of its time.
yeah, very much of its
Which
time.
was 1960, by the way, sinners.
Yeah.
If you want to do some
and
math.
for those who don't know the story, first off, the Magnificent Seven
spoilers.
is just 7 gunslingers are hired to protect this town from like a local baddie. Is all.
Yeah.
Pretty simplistic. Pretty easy to keep to that principle.
Yeah. It's like your average
The changes
cliche.
are minute enough, between villages and between its...
Well, they don't even seem minute,
Core
though. It
members.
does seem like a different movie, almost. Like, because even, like Derek said, the way that they recruit the seven is a lot different.
Yeah,
Okay, because, in the original, it's just totally...
And
it's
the main
basic.
They
They go town to town and just find this gunslinger. Like, why don't they... they're looking for someone. Why don't they stumble across someone, where...
Well, they're
one
looking
happens
for
to fall in
specific
their lap.
people in
Yeah.
the new one. Like, the main guy in the new one, Denzel Washington, is a bounty hunter, which wasn't the case in the original.
No, he was
No,
like a
the original-
sheriff.
The original and the first one, he was just. I think he was just a gunslinger.
Yeah.
Like, he was just a gun for hire, but he was like a genuine.
Wasn't
he was
he-
a nice guy though. He helped people.
Yeah, I
out.
thought he was like a... Well, he didn't have a star. He didn't have a bad...
I don't think he had a
I
star.
thought I
No, he
heard
was
someone
just
call him
a
sheriff.
traveling badass.
Yeah,
The dude in black. Yul Brynner. Is that what we're talking... Okay.
Yul Brynner.
The dude in black.
I think he literally is just known as the gunslinger.
Now, like this movie, the old cast is pretty big, right? Like Yul Brynner,
Yul
Steve
Brynner,
McQueen, Charles Bronson's in
Charles
it.
Bronson.
And I don't really know the other four. But I'm sure they were big at the time.
Yeah. For their time. Yeah.
This is the oldest movie we have watched on the podcast. So, celebratory moment there.
Yeah, and it's not that it's a bad movie. I'm sure for the time it was really good.
It's isn't it deemed as, what most people would say, like a classic?
Yeah, like a lot of people.
Like one of
it's-
the best westerns ever kind
A lot
of
of
thing?
people say it's like one of the best westerns, and I've seen a lot of them, a lot of westerns actually, and it's actually not that bad.
I don't particularly love old westerns. For some reason, I really like new westerns. Like I love Django. Hateful Eight was good.
I really
Cowboys
love
and
the
Aliens,
idea
like
of a
more
Western.
recent westerns.
Yeah, the idea of a western to me is like, why don't I enthusiastically love this? And I'm like you. I can't find myself watching like a John Wayne movie. Like,
yeah, not a John Wayne fan.
there's just not. But like I said, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight.
So I guess we just like
I mean, goddamn, even like Wild Wild West, I could tolerate more than like one of those old You know, and I feel like that's the bottom
Back to the
level
Future
of today's
3,
Western.
you know?
I was gonna say I've seen
Not that low.
a lot of them from like the 80s and 90s, and I mean they're a lot different from the old ones. You know, you don't have Clint Eastwood walking around just chewing on cigars, shooting bad guys.
The ultimate badass.
Yeah, and I've still have yet to see any of his films.
Did him and
His
John
old
Wayne ever
westerns.
do a movie together?
I don't think so.
No.
They may have, but if it was a long time ago.
Right.
Arnold
Right.
was in a western once. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No way. What Western?
Yeah.
What?
I can't remember what it is. It's him, Burt Reynolds, and somebody else.
Oh, God.
It's like the Lonely Kid or the Last Kid, something like that.
Sinners,
Something
if you
stupid.
know the
It's
name of this
horrible.
movie,
It
this
sounds- it
Western
looks
with
horrible.
the Schwarzenegger, comment because I want to find this out. I want to watch this.
He has like one of those like little tiny cowboy hats too, in it. Like it's fucking horrible.
But so back to Magnificent Seven.
Yes.
So you said they come across these guys differently than they do. You said they're looking for specific people. In
Yeah,
the new one.
in
Like
the-
these specific.
Yeah,
guys.
they have like hard targets they're going after.
Yeah. They
because they're known badasses.
I think
Yeah.
through their reputation.
Guys
I
with
mean,
cool
I know.
names too. Like I don't know what the names of the gunslingers were in that one.
Neither do I.
But
so,
here, Ethan Hawke his name is Goodnight Robichaud. That's kind of cool,
yeah.
and he's got some cool rep. Byung Hun Lee, his name is Billy Rocks.
Was
Another
that
dude-
was that the big?
That's the Asian,
Oh, okay.
the knife thrower, and the Native American Red Harvest. I think he
Red
like kills
Harvest.
somebody when he announces it too. Like, check this out. So it's pretty cool.
Looks like
Bart Bogue is the name of the bad guy. Peter Sarsgaard. Bartholomew Bogue. Very of its time, you know.
Peter Sarsgaard is
An
that guy?
alliterative name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is he better than when he was Hector Hammond?
He's way better than when he was
Okay,
Hector.
cool.
He still doesn't have to like do a lot though. Like
He really.
the bad guy's
did
not a
show
guy
lot.
we like. We hate him. Obviously.
He's
like
not
right
like
off the
another
bat, he does some
Is he an
shitty
awesome
things.
gunslinger at least?
No,
No,
No.
he's
like
he's
the
a mob
rich,
boss
I
basically.
hire, yeah,
Yeah.
like the gangster of its
Weak.
time. Hires a bunch of people, owns this town.
I hate bad guys that can't live up to their reputation. You know, like
Overall,
I
it's a
don't,
fairly predictable movie. I think
Yeah.
it's like the ending you want, basically.
So it's like town in trouble, town seeks hero, hero comes, town prospers. You know what I mean?
right.
we've covered
That
spoilers,
is literally the
Yeah, I said
basic.
it. I
That's the
said
formula.
it.
For
So
the first
yeah, and main hero lives, but like cool guys you want to love, heroes die.
Yeah.
How-
So who are your favorites? Let's talk
Predictable.
favorites. And I can't talk favorites in the old one because that's one complaint I have is I can't differentiate between the characters.
I can
I
actually say my
actually-
favorite.
I was gonna
from the-
say-
Charles Bronson.
Charles Bronson was, I think,
Dude.
one
Which
of my
one was he?
favorites. He was the.
He was the one that spanked the kid.
He was like
at
the one
the
that
end.
was like.
That was
Like,
so out of nowhere.
Those like three little Mexican kids.
He was, like, half
just
Mexican
like
himself.
randomly started
That's why
looking
he
up
was-
to Charles Bronson, and he's one of those almost like
Bernardo.
Alan Grant. Like he doesn't like kids, you know, so he's like just like growls at them kind of shit. And then like he eventually ends up caring for him, and he's like, I'm not brave for what I do. Your dad's brave because he's
They got responsibilities.
right?
Yeah.
And then
And
he
he,
was
like-
like, he grabs
he-
the kid, throws
like,
him over his knee, and
starts
spanks
like,
him 3
swatting
times, and
this
like
kid.
throws him back up, and he's like, I'm not a brave man, you know.
Your dad's a brave man. He
He took on
lives,
responsibilities.
in this poor country, this poor local city, and to raise you and feed you, and it's I don't know, but he was an awesome cowboy though. Like
Very much so. Like he was good. Steve McQueen was pretty good. I could definitely tell which ones of the old characters in this movie were somewhat portrayed in the new movie. Like you could.
I
pick
couldn't
different kinds.
I couldn't.
See, there was a couple of them I
Suss it
could
out.
figure
You
out.
could
Well,
match
the
some
knife,
up.
the
Yeah,
knife
some of
guy
them.
was clear.
Yeah, he was Billy the
But he
the
only,
guy.
I only remember seeing him throw one knife. Like towards the end, I was
he
really
didn't do
checked
it
out.
in the final fight at all. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the tall dude
Yeah.
who like threw the I don't know
Threw the
whatever.
knife?
Yeah, he only threw it in to show off to Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen, and then never used it in the final fight.
He got ready to, and then when he threw it, it like went right in the ditch.
Like
next
went
to him
limp, like
because he died,
right into the rock
because he
next
just
to him,
died all over.
because
it.
he like just died on this wall.
But
And I was like, that's a total letdown. Like this, he
Like-
didn't use this awesome ability to.
We
He
can
was
tell you
going
he
to,
uses the
but-
shit out of him in this one, and it is awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. He's one of
Yeah.
my favorites. Like if
He
we're
was
going
really
favorites, definitely. Would you say the Native American guy?
Red Harvest.
Red Harvest was cool. Asian guy.
I think that's
Billy.
Billy Rocks.
Yeah, he was awesome. And then the bigger.
Jack Thorne.
Jack
I thought he
Horn,
was
yeah.
awesome.
Was that
Those are-
Vincent D'Onofrio?
That's
Yeah.
D'Onofrio, and
That's
he
D'Onofrio.
is.
D'Onofrio. I'm sorry.
He's pretty awesome. He's got a real like unique voice, which I read he, I guess, has met a dude that matches like his size and like had a soft softer voice like that, and he was like, I want to use that in a movie. And so they came to him with this, and he was like, I got it.
That's cool, man. Because
Yeah.
in the trailer, they all looked badass. So I'm glad at least they're living up to their names.
He works good with Ethan Hawke. He works good with Chris Pratt, who plays the whiskey swigging Josh Faraday, and he's of course a lot of fun.
He's a lot of fun,
yeah.
but I don't feel like he was anything.
I almost don't know that he was the standout,
He definitely wasn't.
but he was a lot of fun. He's Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt's always
I mean,
a lot
you
of
know.
fun. You know,
Denzel, who I'm not always a huge fan of, I think he did a really good job.
He did all right for a Western. I don't think I've ever really seen him in one.
But to answer your question, I think I will say that Billy Rocks was my favorite, the Asian.
Yeah.
Nice.
Derek, do you have one? Did you say
yeah. What was
Jack Horn?
Jack Horn? Yeah, okay.
Jack Horn.
The Mountain Man.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome.
Which one?
'cause-
Oh, that was the.
That
okay.
is.
But they all do get their their little
Their moments to shine. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They all do.
It's a pretty good fight. Like it's probably like 10 minutes
Yeah,
at
like,
least.
as-
It was a good, it's rewarding.
When we were watching the old one, I was like, I kept checking. Yeah, this is how much I liked it. I kept checking to see how much time I had left, and I
hate
was
doing
like,
that. I do that
when
too.
does the fight come? Like, we're running out of time. Somebody, some action, please.
There's a lot of.
It's-
a lot
And
of
I
poking
thought it was
around.
coming like halfway in the movie, and I was like, oh shit, this is an all dayer, you know. And then
Oh,
because
you
the
saw
bad
that
guy
one little-
shows
yeah,
up,
they show
and
up,
I'm like,
have like
oh, here it's
like
it's
a
on
scrimmage,
now.
you know? The heroes kind of show off what they can do. He runs away.
Well, yeah, because he comes in and he's like, "Oh, I see you put up some walls since I've been here. You know, those aren't going to keep me out." And you know, he's like, "Those are to keep you in."
That was kind of that was like
That
the
was-
one awesome line to take
yeah.
away. Like they're meant to keep you in.
And
And then like the village attacks and have like it's still like a scrimmage. You know,
Yeah.
like oh, like 3 of your nobodies died, 5 of my nobodies died, but I'm gonna come back
Yeah.
with a bigger force when you're
was-
not ready. And you know, but in the last fight, it just never peaked for me. Like I try to picture it back then, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, and it never reached like oh man, this is awesome, and it just
when was this? It was the '60s.
Yeah,
60 exactly.
2001: A Space Odyssey was a '60s movie as well, and it's beautiful
You know, that's-
even today.
I love it.
That's Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Come on, you can't deny it.
So I'm just saying, a visually exciting
right,
movie
right.
could have been done.
Well, one thing I do want to point out though is in the old one, in this original one, the townspeople turn on the guns they hire.
in the original.
In the original,
Yeah, there's like a few of them that
they go to the guy and like explain what's going on or whatever, and
Really?
yeah,
they're like we don't.
So you're
We
saying they're
don't
like
support-
Alpha from 300?
They're like we would rather be slaves to him, knowing we're gonna live and at least get some food in our belly, than be on your side. Probably,
maybe
you know,
die.
they think that they're gonna die, obviously.
Underdogs.
And and they turn on him, and so like you know and this was sucked about this was dumb about the original one. The bad guy, you know, comes in because they went to the bad guy and were like, "We'll get you in our fortress. You take over, kick the heroes out," and then what? He just has them like throw their guns in a pile, and then he's like, "Leave town and never come back." And I was like, "Already, you're the worst bad guy on the planet."
let
Why
them
don't
all
you,
live.
you let seven dudes who almost killed like half your army.
How did the main bad guy get away in that first little fight too? Like he was right up on the front, like just shoot him right
I
there.
think he literally just ended up just
Did they shoot like
scurrying
stormtroopers?
away.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because like they're all
Did the
standing
bad
there
guys
and
shoot
it's,
like stormtroopers?
you know,
Yeah,
it's
everybody
tense,
shoots like
and then the
stormtroopers.
first guy does his like quick draw thing.
Everybody did.
And then everyone else starts popping shots off. Like nobody was just like, bang,
And-
problem solved.
And was it? You watched the original. The dude who was more like richly dressed, you know, the one who was more proper. Did he fight?
I don't
the
think
one
he
shot.
did. I
He
don't
was
think
like
he-
against the wall, almost like in a ducking position, no gun in his hand.
Didn't he get shot or something? I can't
And
remember.
then in the last fight,
are you talking about the guy with the
I
black
see him
gun?
pull out a gun and like
I'm thinking of the guy with the neckerchief.
Yeah, that guy who like
he
kicks
wore
in
like
that door and
the
shoots
vest
those
as
guys.
well. Is that who you're?
I think so.
Like
The rich posh guy.
Yeah, the guy that he's like,
guy-
well, he's a good. No matter what he looks like, he's a
He
good
caught
shooter.
there's like
basically.
3 flies on the table. He catches one, and they're like, "Whoa, man, you're fast." And he's like, "There used to be a day I could catch all 3."
I thought that was
Yeah, okay. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe it's just me saying
that was
it's awesome.
okay.
And then like you never see him use his gun skill. I'm pretty sure he pulls out the gun in the last fight. He kills one guy and dies. And it wasn't even like one critical
wasn't a-
dude.
He kills.
It
he
wasn't
kills
a
2
graceful
guys.
death either.
No, I
like
was
it's like
like-
face up against the rocks and like
Your
comes
knife
in-
guy didn't knife anyone. Your dude who could, I don't know, catch 3 flies killed one less insignificant dude. You're like, your 7 here sucks.
You definitely didn't get the payoff that you did in the new one.
The new one, you're also rewarded with a fight sort of in the middle of it, because the 7 of them just go into town and clear out the goons, and that's a nice little treat too, because it's a flashy scene. You get to see a little more action, and then they leave the one who's or the sheriff, who is corrupt, but only because of the position he's in, you know,
and he was hiding under the porch.
He totally was hiding under the porch, and they bring him out, and they're like, go tell Bart, who's he says he's going to be back in 3 weeks.
Bart is the bad guy.
Bartholomew.
Bart's like the ultimate Western name. Bart.
It just sounds good.
Bart.
And so they send the sheriff after him, and then he goes to, I think, Sacramento, and tracks down Bart Bogue and tells him the deal. And basically, 3 days, I think, from there, they get attacked, and it's the final scene. But yet,
I thought it was 7 days.
Because did they have a week? Whatever.
Because
3 days there.
Well, they're he's going to be back in 3 weeks, and he's like, well, it's going to take him 3 days to get there, 3 days or 1 day to plan, and 3 days to get back. So now we got a week.
So then it was a week, but you are rewarded with more action,
right?
Not just a little baby payoff. Big payoff, big treat. It's a good deal.
Really, really fun movie. I never at any time was I thought about going and seeing it again, to be honest.
Now how does Denzel get caught up? Does he get
He's
sought
the
out
main
to
guy.
protect
Denzel's,
a town? Okay, so that's the original.
He is
Is that what you're saying?
legit.
Right?
He's a legit bounty hunter cop, sort of.
See, that's already. That's already.
he's like,
more
I'm
than you
warned-
find out
He's
about.
Dr. King Schultz, but he's Django after Dr. King Schultz.
Well,
dies.
he has several territories.
Yeah, he can do this within certain territories, and he explains. And like Django, he kills somebody and he's in front of people.
He's a peace officer to the Native Americans as well.
See,
that's how he can
knows their
already.
language.
That's more than you find out ever about Yul Brynner, the main characters in the first one. You don't find anything about them.
No.
You don't know what the fuck Yul Brynner's dressed in black.
They're good with guns.
Yeah,
That's all you need
him
to
and
know.
Steve McQueen don't know each other, but then
They're really friendly with each other.
yeah, they're really friendly with each other. And then obviously Yul Brynner goes to McQueen and is like, "Hey, I'm being hired to protect this town. Pay of $20. We can't for 6 weeks."
See, and I think Steve McQueen's character in the old one is supposed to be Chris Pratt's character in the new one. He's like a gambler who's
I don't see
always
that at
out
all.
of money. That's
There
how
was-
it is in the new one, though.
So
yeah,
who was the
not-
weird guy that kept showing up?
Following around?
Yeah,
I'm assuming he has to probably take the place of Red Harvest.
Okay.
The Indian. I think he's just that young
well,
kid. who
no,
really
Red
wanted
Harvest
to do it.
takes his place,
Yeah.
obviously.
But I think that's who he was supposed to be doing all that jazz with.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not have the same entertainment value that the new one had.
It's just a different film at a different time, So it's just
I feel like
it's
Western
definitely-
fanboys are going to be really upset about hearing that. But
Well, Antoine Fuqua, first off, is a really good director. Southpaw, Training Day, right, with Denzel and Ethan Hawke.
He did Equalizer.
The Equalizer with
yeah.
Denzel.
with Denzel as well. So Denzel and him are practically bros. All right, kind of like Denzel and Tony Scott, R.I.P.
Yeah.
So having Antoine Fuqua do it was awesome. So you had to know Denzel was going to be in it, which I don't remember stirring really that much controversy. Not like
I don't think
when
it made
Marvel
a big deal.
whitewashes a role, everyone the internet breaks in half.
It's weird. It's weird to do you think they added all the diverse roles to be super PC about it, or do you think it was just a good move? Because clearly the people they got to play the parts were awesome. Them being from different cultures
It's paying off now and showing them that what we did was a smart move.
Yeah. But then instead of the three guys coming to recruit, obviously it's a pretty girl.
When her husband got killed, same thing happened.
Yeah,
in the original.
she's a damsel in distress, but they had that same character in the first one, but she wasn't, the one to go and recruit them.
It was just her people.
Oh yeah, her husband, the main girl in this, in the beginning, her husband is Matt Bomer. Who?
No shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's in it for all of 5 seconds, and I think he is maybe the first one killed by Bart Bogue.
Aw, shame.
And then he wipes out a couple of people, right there in front of everybody, right out of church
And then doesn't
mass.
he tell him to leave them in the street?
He's leave their bodies in the street for a few days to send the message or some shit. So right off the way, Bart establishes
He's the man.
he's the bad guy and you don't want to like him. And then he kind of just shows up kind of like Spickle Spacker here, here and there until the
Right.
very end when he kind of but no, he's not a gunslinger. He's got a pretty cool Gatling gun, but
The original bad guy wasn't a super gunslinger either. Like,
no, he was just like some curly-headed cowboy.
And that's the thing,
nuts.
man. I have this villain problem where like
See,
Marvel seems to not get it right for me.
See, I think the villain in the new one was fine.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying they can't be awesome. I'm just saying like I don't like a bad guy that can't live up to his own what he's doing to people. I would want him Bart to be a sweet gunslinger, and he's not. So I'm like, God damn it! I know in a fight you would die. And
so like one
that's
guy
not
like
bad to
owned
me.
the Mexican town. What was his profession? In this one, Bart is a miner.
Oh, he's
in
like
this,
he's like a bandit.
He's like a bandit.
Oh,
like a
is he just like an
bandolier,
outlaw?
yeah.
Bandito.
Yeah, and they have like their own.
Apparently,
Well, they
Yeah.
definitely expanded on everyone's story then in this one, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I guess he visits the old town once or twice a year, always right before winter, and
To take
takes
their crops.
like 80% of their crops for him and his gang to live through the winter, and 20% for them, and they do this just year round. Like it's like ants. Ants was like.
Oh
the
my
same
god,
thing.
it's ants.
It's fucking ants. But this shit, I can't even. Caesar.
No, it is.
I don't know what
It's
the guy's
ants.
name was in the.
Ants is based off Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, we just. Oh my god. Boom.
God.
Did you guys minds just explode right now?
We gotta pause the podcast. Huh?
That's crazy. Sinners, if you're listening, comment on if your brains are still intact from getting blown all over your wall. Or car.
Oh my god.
That's awesome. But yeah, that's
Disney.
that's.
I'm
I'm
hung
like
up
down
on this
Disney,
now.
and I love you. I praise you
Snuck
guys.
it in there, man.
I know. So basically,
now
yeah,
surprised.
they do this year round.
Illuminati.
Like I said, he stops by like once in the summer. Maybe kills a dude or two, and he's like, I ain't playing. Grow my crops, and then he comes back like right before winter, and they take like pretty much everything they want.
Yeah.
And so when the heroes come to town, they hide all the women and some. I don't know. I guess it's just the girls.
Yeah.
Why were the girls parading through town in the original?
Why were they what?
Weren't they like parading through town?
I mean, they were having like a festival when the heroes came,
Yeah.
right?
But where
Like,
were the women? Why were the kids still out? You know
I
what
don't
I'm
know,
saying?
they- yeah,
So
I don't
they hid the women, but they're like, oh, let's just put these little girls out. Who cares about them?
And I guess they were like, every able body that can hold a sword, come with me, because they were going to use their machetes and stuff to help fight. And as like it's really weird. Their theory was, we kill bad guys who drop their guns. You get the guns and help us kill bad guys.
That was neat.
And I was like,
That makes
you
sense.
are really counting on the
It
seven
kind
of
of
you
sounds
to
like one
do
of those
some
you have to have
damage.
job experience to get experience.
Well, they train them for it the whole movie, which kind of backs it up. Like you see them like training them how to use
Well,
their
it actually
guns.
makes more sense. Why would they have like this stockpile of guns? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it makes sense that to get because guns aren't free,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're only making
It's like a
20
video game.
bucks
You're going to pick it
apiece
off the dead guy.
for 6 weeks of work. Which,
But I'm just
which
saying,
they
I
explain
don't
as
think that
being
should
a
be
very
your
low
master
pay.
plan.
yeah, the 7 of them are counting
Like,
on just
that
the
should be a
7 of
given,
them
if anything.
Yeah.
to kill
Obviously,
them
if that
and
guy
make them
can't
drop
use his
their
gun,
guns.
use it.
Yeah.
That
They're
Not
trying
like
to get them to work because they know they're up against major
It should be
odds.
your ace,
Yeah.
That's true.
I just don't like. It's like you could have maybe brought some guns or like handed out a few guns, but just relying on the fact that the 7 of you are going to drop them all and make them get the guns, and you kill the bad guys. That's you are really confident in yourselves, and I don't know,
And
especially
what's-
in that time. Anything could kill you back then.
I was gonna say what's really weird too is like Steve McQueen makes mention of it later on, but like nobody ever really tells you like why they're there in the original. Like they don't say what their motive is behind it because they're literally getting like they get paid big bucks to go do some heavy fighting, and then they go do this little caper, which I think they're only supposed to get like 20 bucks from, and they're all just
camp
like
in this town for 6 weeks.
Well,
For this dude to show up.
they're doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Well, it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying that, but you never hear it from them. You just assume it that way. Well, in the new one, you find out like everybody kind of has like their own motives. Like Denzel, he's doing it out of revenge because his sister got attacked by Bart Bogue's like mining company like when he was younger because he got like
That's
strung
right,
up.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then like who was it?
In the new one?
Chris
yeah,
Pratt,
the new one,
Chris
Pratt
Pratt wants
like,
his horse.
Yeah, he wants his horse, but I think he just like he wants to genuinely help. I guess I think he gets to a point where he just wants to help, but it's just like they have general motives and stuff behind each one of their characters, and then the old one they didn't have anything. Even Steve McQueen's like, well, when you sit there and you kind of like think about it or whatever, it's just like, well, seemed like a good idea at the time. And then that's like his excuse, and then that's like the only excuse.
Yeah, Steve McQueen's getting all prophetic over it.
There was some carryover lines from the two.
Oh yeah,
Like the line about someone falling out of the 5-story window and people hearing him say as he was falling, "So far, so good."
Yeah.
That was in both movies.
So was when he,
I forgot
in the
about
very
that, yeah.
in the very beginning when he's like, I've done a lot of things for a lot of money, but I've never done,
I've got
something
paid
for
a
everything.
lot to do a job or something, but I've never been offered everything.
Yeah. He said that in both movies too.
Which I think is an awesome line.
yeah, I think it's pretty.
Was there
pretty
in the original, and I didn't automatically this. I don't know the guy's name. I don't remember any of their names actually in the first one. The dude who, when they go for their final fight, they've been kicked out of town, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna go back there and kick his ass anyways." The one he's like, "No, man, forget you guys. I'm out of here." That guy, you know who I'm talking about? The one.
I know who you're talking
and then
about.
he comes back in the end.
Ethan Hawke.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you guys had a Baylor. Yeah.
Oh, damn it, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke did it.
Automatically, I'm not gonna like you, man.
Well,
No,
okay, hold on.
He's kind of got like a
He's
PTSD from like war or something, and then so like
Man, all three of you were
shooting
like,
kind of
no,
like takes
no.
him back.
Well, he comes back and he makes up for it.
He's like a sharpshooter.
Yeah, he comes back and makes
Alright.
up for it in this one. In the original, he comes back and he's like, "Don't worry, Chris, I'm going to save you," which is Yul Brynner's
He
character.
rides down the hill on a horse.
Rides down the fucking
kills
hill.
One,
I
two?
think maybe kills one person and then gets killed.
Gets killed. Gets shot off his horse. And
Gets
dies.
shot off his horse and dies.
And I was, to like
It was fucking horrible.
pussy out like that, which, like I said, automatically you go down on my list
yeah,
and come back and die that quickly. I mean, the whole thing happened in like 4 seconds.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, what the? This is not rewarding at all, man. This is. And how many people live in this one?
I think
and
it's
the
the
original, yeah, it's the same.
3?
Yeah,
So
three
you
live.
got
and then-
your
Who
Yul Brynner,
died?
your
We
Steve
have-
McQueen, and the number 7 kid.
The survivors
Red
are
Harvest.
Denzel, Red Harvest, and
No, Red Harvest.
and
lives?
No,
and,
the
Va-
Mexican-
and
the
Vasquez,
Mexican guy,
the
yeah.
Mexican, yeah.
I was
Wait,
gonna say-
Pratt doesn't live?
Pratt dies.
Pratt
No.
dies. D'Onofrio dies.
His death was awesome though.
Then after
Hawk
that-
dies.
Hawk dies, and the Asian dies. Yeah.
Man.
So let's talk.
Yeah.
So to me, the thing you got to get right to make this movie good is obviously the final showdown. Like if you get that wrong, then the whole movie's kind of shit.
Even if the
Yeah.
hero dies, it has to be.
Yeah, and I think that the execution of that was so great. Like they dug trenches all around the outside, and they put people actually in the trenches and then covered them up, like booby trap style.
Right.
Like
And-
Red Dawn style.
Yeah, and let's see what happened first. So they blew up the dynamite first, right?
They
Yeah,
blew
they
up
blew
a
up
couple
dynamite.
of them. Yeah.
So as the people were riding in on their horses, just like charging the town, they just blew up tons of dynamite and killed it seemed like a huge portion of their guys right off the bat.
Right.
Which is smart, And then as like horses are jumping over the trenches, they're like shooting upwards and getting people. I don't know. It's just
basically they started making their way inland as they're fighting through the trenches, and then I guess like some of the other characters have like certain spots and certain things they're supposed to do, kind of like
Yeah, there's kind of some cues that go on, and like
Right.
dynamite.
When this
things.
happens, do this. And then do this.
Shooters up
Yeah, sure.
top, obviously. Like the girl's not helpless; she can shoot a gun. It's kind of, but other than that, it's pretty much very X-Men 3. Like Bart and like his buddies with just kind of like send the losers in, and they get like there's a lot of them too. He's got a pretty good size team of
Okay,
riders
yeah.
there, but so they get smoked.
had
And
they
then
not had the Gatling gun,
Yeah,
it would have been completely one-sided.
Ethan Hawke shows up right around the time they're getting ready to unleash it.
Oh, when
and
he makes his valiant return.
he makes a return, and
Okay.
he's like, they got the devil's grip.
like you knew he would, so you couldn't
Yeah.
be mad at him. Like I know you want to hate him for bailing, but it's like he's coming back.
yeah, he
He's
comes
Ethan Hawke,
back.
he's coming
and-
back.
He's gonna cool off for a while.
Yeah, he's
Come
not
back.
like one of the like no names where you're like he could be gone and who cares. You knew he was coming back.
You know what he didn't come back from? Fucking Purge.
Huh.
Yeah,
It's true.
Wow. Was there really Gatling guns back then? Like,
Yeah,
is that
'cause
what
it- 'cause
Gatling
this
guns
takes
are from?
place-
I don't know anything about guns.
This takes
so
place
sorry,
after the
sinners, if
Civil
I'm a
War. So
gun idiot.
the gun was made during the Civil War, and it was like the first, like pretty much heavy machine gun they ever made at the time. And
First off, they've got it like on a wagon,
they have it a good chunk
like
away
from
the
their
town.
like safety spot, and this thing obliterates like the whole town from there.
That's awesome.
I don't even see them like swiveling it at all, but
Yeah,
it annihilates everything.
Yeah, it's
Up
killing
top,
people left
down
and right.
below, it didn't matter. There was no safety spot.
Gatling guns were very fierce. 'Cause
You had
they
to have a
would
lot
just-
of fucking luck.
There was no hiding
shit.
it.
No,
Right.
like everybody was getting ganked. Every like building was like cut in half.
If you weren't as level as the floor, like you were getting
Yeah.
picked off. It was bad.
If you weighed more than 160 pounds, you're probably dead. You just stuck out too far.
You just,
You know,
there's
like
nothing.
Yeah,
no
your
crevice
body
to
was
get
probably
in.
too big. I would probably be
okay.
dead.
Well, because in the original, they didn't. I don't think they barely had any kind of. Their plan was to just get them all into town and kill them all. There
The
wasn't
bad
like,
guys didn't have like an ace, like
No,
No,
you
not
know,
in the original.
like a cannon or something.
it was
bad
just
guys-
it was just a bunch of
no,
bandits.
no. None of the bad guys were awesome gunslingers. It was just one dude controlling a bunch of nobodies.
Did they have a cannon in the new one? Like
In the
I
new
feel
one,
like
but
at the
I-
barn there was
he-
some kind of cannon thing.
The good guys did.
Yeah, that's
they
what I'm
had
saying.
they had like kind of like a
Like
like a-
one shot cannon.
Yeah, it was
like a
It was-
blunderbuss. It
That's
basically
awesome,
is like for like using for like a pump gun, like shooting
Basically,
ducks, like
yeah,
a lot
looked
of
like
animals one time.
giant
Giant
confetti.
shotgun and just
confetti gun. That's kind
yeah, and it was pretty nuts.
You said the bad guys don't have any gunslingers. Why?
I don't know,
Like in our movie, this guy's so rich, but he doesn't have any like ace shooters that can like compete with these guys. None of them.
because all ace shooters are good guys, duh.
Because he's
They are in
thinking of
Hollywood.
he's just thinking of the manpower. He's not thinking of the
Yeah, and I
statistics
don't.
of it.
Also, yeah, if we're talking,
I'm just saying, you make enough.
if we're
connections,
talking like
you know.
climactic movie formulas, the whole few good guys versus army of like one dude and an army of nobodies, like a guy counting on mass force. I don't like shit like that. Like I said, I want the bad guys to have like maybe get one or two aces and all that. That's fine, but you got to have more than just your bad guy that can't gunsling and 1,000 nobodies that can't gunsling.
I think it's
either.
just- I think
like
it's
I don't
just-
like shit like that.
I think it just comes down to how they had him perceived. Because like
Quantity versus quality. You know?
as
I know,
say,
but I
he
don't.
Just,
I hate when heroes are. What's the word? Like, how do I want to phrase it?
Too good.
Yeah, it almost makes them.
Well, they're not in the new one. In the new one, the whole town like really rallies. The town is a very vital part of the plan in the new one.
right.
in the old one, they didn't
They
even
don't-
help.
yeah.
So
Like I guess
turned
it just
it.
goes back to his plan of like,
Yeah,
wow.
the setup of the town, they really like the
town
town
they
is
mapped
a
it out,
part of
planned it
everything.
out.
Like-
They did a good job doing it.
They even mention at some point, a lot of these people are going to die tomorrow. Like, so it's nobody was.
Forced.
Yeah, nobody didn't know what was happening,
Right.
and
And I think all the kids were like below ground somewhere.
yeah, the kids and the women were hidden.
I think they were underground somewhere because he had
Well,
to
yeah, he
like
had
lift
to-
up the
yeah,
floors.
They were in a
to get 'em
basement
out.
or something.
And like the general store, I think like in the cellar or some junk.
So, yeah, so the bad guys show up, rush the town, grenades go off, then people start shooting. Most of the bad guys get obliterated. Then they break out the Gatling gun, start
Right.
mowing everybody down. I think at this point, some of your good guys start dying.
Or
Yeah.
at least getting shot up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who is the first good guy to die?
I think it's.
Is it D'Onofrio,
I
Vincent?
think it's
No.
D'Onofrio. Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks.
The big
He
guy?
starts off really strong.
He's
though.
like an Indian killer.
He's like a tracker.
or something.
Yeah.
Tracker.
Yeah,
and then he
he's-
gets killed by like a. I say an Indian, but he really didn't do anything Indianic.
He's
He was more just like a. I don't know, like
It
a
wasn't
Native
like
American who wears paint because he thinks it looks cool.
It wasn't
rather
like
than-
ironic, like he got killed by.
like Red Harvest was a Native American, and that
was-
dude was like bow sniping everybody. He was
he
doing
was
Indian
so good
shit.
with he was so cool.
And
Was
like,
he like
his
Hawkeye
face paint
level?
was awesome.
this guy looked like an
He was
old
way cooler
fat
than Hawkeye.
Nighthawk.
What's wrong with Hawkeye,
Nightwolf.
bitch?
I don't know. Hawkeye's just
What? Guys, hold on. Thoughts on Hawkeye, Derek?
What?
like
No,
Hawkeye.
not
Nerd.
Hawkeye. Stay on topic.
Whoa.
I know, but Tyler isn't Hawkeye.
nerd.
We'll deal with him after the podcast.
All right, I'm dealing with you.
We'll deal with him next week's podcast. This Indian on their team was like an old fat Nightwolf. And
It was bad.
So
He
he
was pretty
kills
horrible.
D'Onofrio, which kind of made me upset because
Yeah.
he's this Indian killing expert.
It took him a minute to get him down though.
It
right?
did. He
Yeah.
had like a he was
pulled-
the
he pulled
orc
a ball
blowing
in
up
there.
Helm's Deep, like just taking arrows
Right.
left and right, eating arrows, and then he gets killed, and he does not kill the guy. I thought maybe he'd still get him.
Right.
No,
No,
he does not.
damn.
I was
But
hoping he
then their
would.
Indian comes in, and they're like, "What?" And they have a fight. Well, actually, very quick. He out Indians him, no sweat, and takes him out.
That's awesome. But then the Indian still dies.
the bad
Yep,
Indian.
bad Indian.
No, later on.
No.
No good Indian.
Oh,
still
he's one of the
lives.
final three.
He's Red
Okay.
He's one
Harvest.
of the final
Yeah.
three, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the other
And
guy.
then I'm trying to. Okay, so Chris Pratt kind of gets it in the end. So he decides he just got to make a break because they have to get rid of the Gatling gun. If they're allowed to keep shooting this Gatling gun, no one's gonna live.
Looks like they've got mags for days on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chris Pratt's running
in
and
mags.
getting. No, he's riding his horse, right?
So they set up
Yeah.
this Gatling gun, and they know that now they got to get rid of it.
The good guys have to get rid of the Gatling.
The Batling.
I thought you said the good guys had the
The
Gatling
Battling
gun.
guys
Oh, the good
had
guys
it.
had the
No,
cannon.
the bad
the
guys
bad
have the
guys have-
Yeah,
Gatling
okay, I
gun.
got you. I got you.
Come on. Nerd.
Okay.
So the good guys have to take out the Gatling gun.
Okay.
So Chris Pratt's riding his horse, and does he get shot or his horse get shot?
I think he gets shot, like, pegged a couple more times. Because he's already... Like,
gets
Yeah,
shot
because
a
he
couple
falls off
times.
and the horse is
I was
taken
going to say,
off.
he got shot before he even got on the horse to do the whole damn thing. He was, like, bleeding. He's like,
So he's just trying to get to the Gatling gun, and they keep shooting him, and he gets all the way up to him pretty close,
Yeah.
and then they're about to kill him, and he like pulls out a cigar, and he's trying to light the cigar, and he can't get it lit, and
one of the other guys.
one of the bad guys brings up a match and lights the cigar for him, and he lights it, takes a puff.
He even like turns one of his buddies down. Like one gets ready to just kill him, and he's like, "Whoa, okay, we better let him have his last." Doesn't
last
say it,
cigar.
but he motions, to halt. Goes to light this cigar.
So Chris Pratt kind of leans over like he's dead, and then pops back up with a lit stick of dynamite, and they're like, dynamite! And he throws it, and boom, does it blow up? It blows up the Gatling gun, right?
Yeah.
Blows up the whole wagon.
Train all the bad guys. Well, the few there.
Right.
Yeah. It
The
was
like
awesome.
18 of the bad guys.
And sometimes I don't like that where they're like, oh, he's dead. Oops, surprise, he's alive. Sometimes I hate that, but I think it was really, really awesome in this.
That's cool, man.
Because he identifies himself as like a magician earlier on in the movie, which was like a cool little touch. Like these two guys try to kill him. Was one Billy the Kid?
Two Gun Billy or something
Two
like
Gun
Billy
Billy,
Two Gun or
but I
something
think
like
he
that.
said something, or Two
It's like
Gun
Billy the
Kid or something.
He's like Billy the Kid. And he's just like
This
it's
guy's
Two Gun
definitely
Billy
name
now.
was definitely Billy, and it had Kid somewhere in it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was supposed to be. Anyway, so they're trying to kill him, and he's like going to show him a magic trick, and Billy Two Guns the Kid is
Two
like
Gun Billy the Kid.
is about to shoot him, and his partner's like, no, I like magic. Let's So then he does a magic trick and distracts him with the magic trick, gets the guy's gun, kills them both, or
Right.
kills the friend, and lets Billy Two Guns the Kid go.
And he killed the friend because the friend touched his guns.
Yeah,
Didn't
shouldn't
like
have touched my guns.
Didn't like that.
Man, the West seems pretty crazy, guys. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We could be just like gunslinging.
The Asian
bandoliers.
is Ethan Hawke's sidekick partner.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're kind of like a team up. You meet him, he's like doing like a quick draw with some guy, and he beats him. He smokes him, no problem. And the guy's like, well, "Let's do it for real." And
It's
like,
exactly what happens.
yeah,
in the
Good
original.
Night's just kind of like,
Yeah, the way they set
Oh,
up
the
in the
one with
original.
the knife thrower guy in the original.
Yeah.
But instead of him throwing a knife, he pulls a hairpin.
Oh, that's right.
He's
He,
got
like,
a hair.
makes it
one
look
of those,
like he's going.
You know how people wrap up their hair and like stick the pin through it? Got him with that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Awesome.
I think Chris Pratt even introduces him to Denzel with something about that line. Like, hey,
He's
kill
good
you a mile. Or he's good with the hairpin.
He's
or
good with
something.
the
Yeah.
hairpin.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, and they both get it. They're like they take the
Church tower.
the sniper in the bell tower position at the end, and then they get the Gatling gun. Just
They
choose them
get
all
killed
up.
together. It's cool, but I liked both of them. I didn't want them to die. But
Someone's got to.
yeah.
And unfortunately.
And there was the scene where everyone rallies together and they're learning how to fire their guns and stuff. What's the Asian guy's name? I can't remember. For some
Billy.
Billy. Yeah,
Billy. So
Rice.
Billy is teaching some people how to use knives, and he throws one at the target and it sticks. And he's like, "Yeah, no big deal." And then he goes through and like slices them up like real cool and like gets behind him and stabs him. And then he turns around and everyone's walking off to go, I'm assuming, to the gun range.
Yeah, they're just like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
No.
He's like, "Hey, get back here."
They're trying to like
That was
prep
so good.
everybody.
It's weird that the Native American guy didn't teach anyone else how to shoot a bow.
Yeah, maybe they.
You think that could
because
come in
of
handy?
Who he
like,
was or something.
He's like, nah, that's the bow guy.
They don't. Surprisingly, they don't play up to any like racism or anything. Nobody drops the N word all over like in Django. Nobody even, I
Well-
think, even really mentions.
Well, at the beginning when he goes into the bar,
Was it on a horse?
well, when he came into town, people were looking at him, and then he goes in the bar and starts, talking to people looking for someone because he's a bounty hunter.
Right.
It's a very Django scene. It seemed like they had a problem with him being black.
Well, yeah, but they don't like. I mean, they're not throwing the slander
Right.
out all over. It's
Well, I
very
don't think-
different,
I
very
think-
G-rated version of the West compared to Tarantino.
I think Tarantino got a lot of slack for using the N word because I don't think it existed at that time. So I mean, that's probably why they didn't use it in this.
Like you're putting too modern of a spin on.
Yeah, but then Tarantino's excuse, I think, is that all of his stuff is super stylized and it's not
Yeah, it's just-
supposed to be 100% textbook accurate.
It's like Spartacus. They didn't actually. No, it's just Spartacus. They didn't actually talk like that. That's what they said, right? They just throw all that stuff in there to spice it up, you know, liven it up a little bit. But
I really wish I would have had time to watch Seven Samurai.
I do too.
Dude, yes, the original, which all this is based off of, sounds freaking awesome.
It looks. I watched the trailer for it, and it's like 3 hours long. I think that's why I didn't watch it, because I, wasn't gonna have time. I didn't even know about it until I watched the original.
And then it said based on the film.
Oh, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. And I pulled up the trailer, and I was like, wow, this looks fucking awesome.
And that's so weird because that becomes like I said, a classic. In cinema history. It's 56 years old, by the way.
That's insane.
That is insane. And to look at the original, which I think is, I'm kind of thinking it's like not in the limelight as much as it should be, as much as Magnificent Seven is. You on the general public and ask them, hey, Seven Samurai, and they're like, what? To me that feels because
they're like seven dwarves.
It looks really cool, and I kind of wish they would have continued the tradition with Magnificent Seven, like the new one. I wish they wouldn't have done it a Western, kind of, because it went from a samurai movie to a Western. What if they would have made it into like a sci-fi or a Bob movie?
Or it could have been anything.
Or a bug movie.
Or a bug movie.
Or they did.
An animated bug movie?
Yeah, that's true.
But you know what I'm saying?
That would have been cool, though. Sci-fi something?
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, I remember right after The Force Awakens came out when it was like, what's the next Star Wars? Oh my God. And rumors were going everywhere. One rumor that I read was that Zack Snyder was going to direct a Seven Samurai style Star Wars movie, but the Seven Samurai gunslingers, whatever, would be Jedis.
Oh my God.
And that rumor was really fun to think about because I was tickled by it. It was interesting that you mentioned it. In a sci-fi setting would be awesome.
But yeah, don't you think it...
I wonder why they didn't mix it up more genre-wise.
Yeah, that was...
It's funny. I was actually thinking
Western is fun. Could have been cool.
Yeah.
When I was watching the original and thought, why Western? What?
Even a mob movie would have been cool. Think about a mob making people pay for protection, and then
they were making
some
a lot
street
of movies
toughs
at that
come
time.
in and
especially a lot of westerns.
We'll have to remake it.
Yeah.
I guess Westerns was the thing
remake
back then.
At that time, yeah.
Spider-Man's getting it all the time, so we can do it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I did really enjoy the new one, so I can't really complain that it wasn't a different genre. But
you can almost say the Avengers.
It's just fun to think about.
Well, no, just the gathering of the.
The
gathering part of.
We get so many remakes now.
I think if anything, it'll be Justice League.
I think it'd be cool to get genre benders.
You think now that you said it, you think Justice League more like Seven Samurai approach? Batman going out to... It is seven people almost.
It sounds like it out loud, but there's not going to be seven in that movie, right?
Yeah, that's what he's
doing. I guess it's
Unite the Seven.
Until, Green Lantern comes out. But that is funny that you say that. Yeah, Unite the Seven Samurai, Zack Snyder's rumor could come true. That's funny you say that. Now, you said all seven of these guys were handpicked. Because in the original...
a few of them were. The Asian came with Ethan Hawke.
Right. Because in the original, they get 6 guys to sign up for the little thing, and there's this dude from town who he's the first one to come. I don't know, audition to Yul Brynner, the main guy, or I guess they're Denzel, and he can't do this thing as fast as Yul Brynner, so he leaves, and then he comes back all disgraced and drunk at a bar one night after he's gathered his 6 guys.
Oh God!
And he passes out, and then he just follows them,
Eventually, they just oh, come on.
Yeah,
come
eventually,
and...
they're hunting, and he catches a bunch of fish. And, he, invites them over, and they're come join our team. You're our 7th guy. That, to me, it was just so... I thought that was really lame.
It definitely
that was just, And then he ends up being, an okay shot. Probably a better shot than probably some of those other guys.
And I was going to say, that was one thing I think he's based on of Red Harvest, because Red Harvest, they just kind of meet up, and...
He kind of, I don't know what, is he just hunting or something? He kind of just runs into him.
Because he has a deer on his...
Denzel establishes that he can speak Native American or speak with him.
Comanche?
And yeah. And then they just kind of hit it off and that's it. There's really...
Join our team.
Nobody has any fuss about it.
He just comes and just starts helping.
Right.
So the Asian, he was a tag along. They do go seek out Jack Horn, the mountain man, D'Onofrio, and he initially kind of he was left for dead. They get to his place, it doesn't seem he's there, or 2 people come up and they've got a gun with his initials, JH, And they're like,
They're bragging.
that's Jack Horn's gun. And they're like, yeah, we found it or something. They're kind of bragging. And then, like, out of nowhere, Jack Horn, bloodied up, comes out, kills these two dudes. And they're kind of like, whoa. And they're like, he establishes that he was left for dead or something by these guys.
They hit me in the head with a rock. They took my possessions. I'm taking back what is rightfully mine.
Yeah.
And basically
He just
just
kinda,
like
like, walks
we're good,
off.
right? And then just disappears.
But then he joins up, I think right around the time they meet Red Harvest, actually.
Yeah, because he shows up and he just like walks up and he starts giving hand signals.
So it's pretty crazy.
Like an umpire just giving hand signals over there.
He does, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, he just shows up and he's just like, hey.
I don't know what
okay,
it
Call
was.
of
There was no
Duty.
like subtitle
Like
filler
the, was
for
it
it.
like the third base coach just like find like a signal all over his body, like
Steal that town.
yeah, that's funny.
It is when he recruits Chris Pratt, he's like buying Chris Pratt's horse for him or whatever, getting it back, but like monetarily. And so like Chris Pratt's sort of like, if you want it, help me out. And he's like, well, how many of us are there? And he's like, 2. And Denzel's with the girl and her brother. And Chris Pratt's like, you and them? And he's like, me and you. So he thinks that they've got more help
Right,
than
yeah.
they're going to get. But it's very Chris Pratt, you know. He's like, all right, well, I'm in, you know. Gets so the whole movie, he's like, I'm working to get my horse back, man, you know.
That's funny.
So that's like his
Yeah,
motive.
Denzel goes off they split up to go find 2 different people, and Denzel's like, meet me
He
at
kind of
this,
Gandalfs him that way, yeah.
meet me in this town in
Yeah,
3
he does.
days. If I'm not there, means I'm dead, and you can have your horse back.
Yeah. But he
So he could always just ride.
Gandalfs them.
He could have rode off with the horse, So he's obviously doing it for a reason. He could have
Right.
just stole the horse and left.
See, that's kind of how they did it in the new one. How they kind of picked up, like they split up into 2 different like teams, and they went and picked the people they were looking for. In the original one, it was just like they make the comment. Literally, they make the comment in the movie about like how like if you want to hire a gun, you should be looking for a hired gun. And then all of a sudden, like all these random like hired guns people just like start showing up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in the same town. Like they're just wandering like the town, like
Just different
finding
bars.
all these dudes, or
They're just like randomly popping up.
like they're just working their way towards this.
Put an ad on Craigslist.
Yeah, And they, I don't know.
They
And like I
they-
said, you don't. The guys they seek out because they're awesome. They all don't. They all died not violently. They all suck. Charles Bronson was kind of a sniper.
He got killed. He got killed by a bunch of kids because they were like he
Oh,
was like
yeah,
sitting there
that pissed
shooting,
me off.
and then the kids come down, and he's like, "No, kids, get out of here!" And then he gets shot.
Yeah.
and I was like,
like hiding behind a wall, and these kids
Fucking kids.
just run out to him in the hail of gunfire, and he's like, "Get down, get down!" Like just gets it.
It's like,
And you're
no,
like,
Death Wish.
oh my god! And by the way, he was in really awesome shape.
"Yeah, he was."
I guess all I've seen him in is like Death Wish, which he's not in awesome shape.
He's just
But he
haggard.
was like built. I mean, for a time back then, you see like you walk up on him, and he's like outside shirtless in like a dusty old house,
cutting wood.
cutting wood with chopping it through with one swing. Just like one gets stuck on there, so he like swings the whole thing. And finishes going through the log like
Like a man.
yeah, like a man. He's
And
like I said, he's probably one of the best ones of the 7 that they had.
See, and I think he is supposed to play Jack Horn in the new one too, because they mentioned some things, some character similarities that
Right.
they had, like about like, oh well, we know you ain't doing too hot right now. You ain't got much money. Why don't you come work with us? But it was weird when they were like all the gunfighters would show up, like they're like, yeah, here you have a job, and he's like, how much is it paying? And then they get the thing, and they're like, man, that sucks. I don't want to do it. And they're like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah,
And then they just come in, and then
yeah. Now that you
that's
mention
it.
that,
Like
they
that's
all
how they
do
did
that.
it. They all do it.
They're just like, God, that sucks. I don't want to do that. And then like
But
5
I'm
minutes
in.
later, yeah, all right, I'm in. Like I got nothing better to do. And you're like, really? You're camping out for 6 weeks. This ain't like, a 1 week deal. You're going for 6 weeks in this shithole town.
Yeah.
For
You
$20.
know, yeah. And then they turn on you. Then you go back and you die. Like,
Yeah, and that 6 weeks, so I'm assuming that's a lot longer than what happens in the new one. Because the new one, it seems like it's pretty recent, and like they get
like
there
a few
within
days
couple
time,
days.
or
Yeah,
a week or something like that.
yeah, it takes place I think within like a week or two. Where this takes place like fucking months apparently,
Right.
or it's supposed to take months.
Well,
But-
if you had to be a gunslinger or a samurai with 6 others and protect it, which one would you be?
samurai,
Going samurai.
I
Okay.
guess samurai.
Yeah, feudal warrior you.
What,
yeah.
Wait, why do you guys want to be samurais? Just
Why
just
not?
ask.
dude, for the honor,
This
like,
sounds
that'd be
cool.
awesome.
You
Like,
get-
It
Yeah,
sounds
like,
we get
cooler,
sweet
you
armor,
look
too.
cooler.
yeah, you get the armor, you get the
Oh,
swords.
okay, we get the
like,
armor. I'm thinking like just like the white
Just like our pajamas? No.
robe thing. I'm sorry, I don't know what the term of that. I hate
I don't
to
know
be
what
like
they
that.
are.
Yeah,
Geese,
like
I
a
guess.
white gi, a sword, and like
Not
your
like
head, like a
Samurai
man
Jack.
bun.
We're talking like Silver Samurai, but not bionic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Tom Cruise samurai.
Like
You said or a
cool
gunslinger.
armor or gunslinger, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Being a gunslinger could be cool, man. Just
Gunslinger
you know,
would have its perks, though.
You know, like win in duels, earn a reputation. You earn a reputation, and you don't got no duels.
Yeah, but
That's the same.
Pros and cons
sure
of
that's the
both.
same with being
I'm
a
going
samurai.
samurai as well.
yeah, samurai. You want to be a
I
gunfighter?
mean, yeah, that'd be. Now I'm gonna get like the oddball.
Chris
out
chose
here.
gunslinger. Come on.
I don't know. I think I'm actually gonna go with gunslinger.
Would you, if you had skills, accept this recruitment to do this mission in a similar scenario? To defend everything you love.
Do they get paid in the new one? Is there a promise of money?
They give them pretty much like how they
Is
do
that
in
your
the
price?
They
Or
got a sack of
you
gold.
want one? You need some momentum to get you through? A little
It's some
reward?
kind of sack of money.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, I know that's the right. I should probably say yes, but if I do and I live, what do I?
What do I get?
Do I just walk off with like pride on my shoulder, like I did a good thing, or am I getting some kind of bonus?
Well,
here?
you're
got some
probably
pep in
gonna
your
like
step?
be able to live in that town free forever. You're probably gonna reap super rewards. You're probably gonna get mega chicks.
Dude, you can live like a king there.
But
Right.
hold on. Now, do I know that my 6 guys are like those 6 guys, where I can be like, okay,
Think about this.
I can
Well,
kind
if
of
you
rely
guys
on
are being
them.
recruited, you have to assume their skills.
Okay.
This
They're not gonna
town-
recruit any scrubs.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'd try if the reward was big enough.
This town lost a giant percentage of males, and then all the females were safe. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you can be the new king.
I'm in.
dude.
Yeah, I'm in. I mean, I'm going to do it. I like to, you live through something like that, and you're just like, dude, what do you got for me,
Cool
God?
story, right?
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, if it was the same thing with the samurais, I would do that as well. So
Well, like samurais. I mean, it's just like it's because I think it's set in like a different time period. Also, like it's like their medieval time, basically. Like when they
like they're
started
not
making
facing
that
guys with
transition.
guns. They're all on
They
the same
that's
playing
when they're
field here.
well, that's when they start facing people with guns because I guess like that's the power that's coming up to
Oh,
the
man.
village. So it's like, oh, dude, it's so cool, and it's just like it's I don't know, original, authentic. It just I don't know, it sounds really awesome. I really want to see it.
Right, we'll have to check that out. Sinners, if you have seen The Seven Samurai, comment. Tell us how that is. I think we're all probably going to watch it at some point. It sounds like something we're all really interested in doing.
Well, it's a 3-hour movie with subtitles, so it's going to be a.
It's like a multiple day event
So,
for us.
so plan to watch a Django movie and then at the last minute swap it, and your time frame is still perfect.
There you go. Stay up 3 hours late one night, lose 3 hours on your sleep before work, and watch it.
Or just bail on work 3 hours
on,
early.
yeah.
Yeah, just call into work.
Call
Who
into
cares?
work. Take a day.
It's just
You
what's
deserve it.
one
Take
day.
a day.
Just stay home.
Binge listen to all of our episodes.
Right. Podcast and chill.
Yeah,
With the
oh.
Cinamen.
Hashtag
Nice.
podcast and chill.
With
Yeah.
the Cinamen.
I know Nick's up for it.
The soft voices coming to you.
You can feel Nick's man bun if you podcast and chill.
I'm in. I'll help you. I will help you. PNN podcast and chill. PCNN.
PNC.
PNC. Oh, chill. Sorry, I was thinking Netflix.
Yeah.
Podcast and Netflix. No time to chill.
No time to chill. So Sinners, I think we can all agree. Watch the original if you got 2 hours of your time you want to throw away, and go see the new Magnificent Seven. Real quick now, does this warrant any kind of sequel? Like we're not going to see some
I don't
Magnificent
think so. I
Eight.
wouldn't expect one.
I hope not.
Okay, cool. That makes it a lot better for me.
It's
At
a good-
its
it's
10,
good as a-
It's an old West ending. Three guys right off into the sunset.
right.
Literally,
Although there's not a cactus or anything, but
Out of 10,
or a coyote.
we're going to start with Cinamen Tyler. What are you going to give this one?
I'm going to give this a magnificent 7.
7 out of 7. Okay, cool. I
No,
like
7
your
out
little-
of 10, not 7 out of 7.
Yeah, I was thinking 7. I said 7 and 7.
Yeah.
I make 7 and yeah, okay, whatever.
7. 7.
Cinnamon Nick.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8. Its predictability, is
Right.
I kind of gotta dock it there, and just the nitpicks of this and that. 8. I liked it. A lot of fun.
I had a good time.
Derek.
I'm gonna give it an 8 as well. Like
It's a fun ride.
I was gonna say like I guess I'm kind of picky when it comes to westerns because I only have so few, but this one actually was pretty good. So yeah, I definitely an 8.
That's awesome. It's got an awesome cast, awesome director. I'm sure it had an awesome writer. If I knew who that.
Oh, it is co-written by I don't know if it's Nick or Nico something. Palazzo or something. The guy, the creator and writer of True Detective.
Oh, really?
So it does have a big name with it.
Cool. Okay.
I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know who the
other guy
and
is.
written by is. But I was excited that this other guy was attached to it.
That's awesome. It seems to be doing well at the box office. So if the numbers and the Cinamen don't speak for you, then maybe you shouldn't see it. So get out there, see it, support it. Tell us what you think.
If you like ants, you'll like
if
this
you
movie.
love ants, you're gonna love
I gotta
this.
rewatch it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch it.
We should have watched Ants this week. Damn it.
Yeah, damn it. If you like these movies, watch Ants. There you go. Maybe send a letter to Disney. Drop a note. But if you like what we're doing, make sure to like our page, share, rate, anything.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell everyone you meet. Get the word out there. And
check us out on YouTube or on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Find us.
And don't be a dick.
Support the podcast.
Please.
Fucking awesome.